seeing that.
All right. I'll say go ahead in just a second.
Okay.
Ah, welcome, right?
Yes. Welcome. Hello, and welcome to Unity of Fredericksburg. My name is Janetta, and I am pleased to welcome all of you to the Unity of Fredericksburg weekly online gathering. At Unity of Fredericksburg, we are advancing the movement of spiritual awakening and transformation through unity, a positive path for spiritual living. We thank those of you watching on YouTube, live or later, and invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you are able to attend live, we encourage you to join us in the Zoom community room for the full Sunday morning experience, including music, prayer, and connection. Our weekly newsletter includes the Sunday service link, and you can subscribe to receive that on our website at uofva.org. For everyone local to Central Virginia, Unity of Fredericksburg offers a variety of fun and enriching in-person gatherings every month. Subscribe to our weekly newsletter at uofva.org for all the details. Our message and meditation today comes from Roy Berkowitz. Roy has attended Unity since 1990 and has been speaking at his home church, Unity Center of DC, and Unity Centers throughout Virginia since 1996. Before he retired in 2017, Roy worked at HIV clinics as supervisor of HIV testers, as a mental health counselor, and as a trainer of doctors, nurses, and social workers and healthcare workers throughout Virginia to work with diverse HIV infected, affected, and at risk people. In retirement, Roy continues to consult and volunteer in the health field, working with safety net programs for and underinsured and Virginia's Medicare Service Corps. Roy is a produced and published playwright, and in 2013, one of his one act plays was turned into an award winning short movie, which played the independent film circuit. His spiritual journey has informed his writing, his teaching, and all aspects of his career. As he continues to have moments of touching his Buddha nature, his Christ like, his belief in the inherent worth and dignity of everyone. Of course, some days are better than others. And now, here's Roy Berkowitz.
Thank you, Janetta. Hello, friends. It's good to be back. One of the bylaws of my church identify the following qualification and power of members. A member of Unity Center DC shall endeavor to live in accord with the principles of love and truth as taught by Jesus Christ and unity, and to further the work of this ministry through active participation and support. So, when I speak to you, when I'm writing my message, it's all part of my endeavoring, mean to make an effort, striving, or just make an attempt or trying, endeavoring to live in accord with principles. You know, it's not always easy for me. One of the speakers at my church reminded us that God is in charge. You've probably heard that before. In response to that, during the Zoom fellowship, one of my friends in the church said, "I don't always believe it, but I have to go there." That hit and really stuck with me. And I thought, how? How do we go there when we don't always believe it, that God is in charge? Certainly, some of us go there quicker than others. How do you go there? I don't usually go there automatically. I might not get there each time. I endeavor to get there. Going to my church, creating these messages, help me strive to get there. They remind me to be in the world, not of the world. To be in the world is to be present, to serve, to partake of the pleasure and the pain, with awareness yet equanimity and evenness of mind under stress. To be of the world is to be constituted by the world, and therefore be controlled and dominated by the elements of the world. It's to immerse ourselves in world values. And what values and what elements are we witnessing and experiencing these days? How can we possibly be moved by the sorrow of others without becoming controlled or dominated by them? Dr. Rick Hansen, he has some thoughts, and he says, to sustain the compassion, we need equanimity, a kind of inner shock absorber between the core of your being and whatever is passing through awareness. With equanimity, you can still feel the pain. An inner shock absorber between the core of your being and whatever is passing through awareness. Passing through awareness. There's that reminder again. Our thoughts are prayers. We make our experience feelings through our thoughts. Do they pass through or do they live in your awareness? In today's world, we may get stuck to holding on to the thought, the feeling, clinging to it. Sometimes I'm really good at letting a thought pass through. You are not setting up house here. There's no room at the end. Welcome and bye-bye. Meditation really helps me able to do that. But sometimes it's just so easy to get stirred up, pained, scared, and saddened. Living in these feelings more often than we'd like. It's so human. Last month, your Reverend Cheryl, who's speaking to my church today, she spoke to our church and she reminded us we are 100% human and 100% divine all the time. As humans, we look for God. As divine beings, we look as God. I wish I had this on-off human God switch. Click. What I do have is the ability to pause. Tara Brach calls it the sacred pause, a suspension of activity, a time of temporary disengagement when we are present, attentive, and often physically still. So it's a moment when we stop, and in doing so, we release our identification with the world, the problems, our reactions. There's no speaking, no fixing, no achieving, no resisting, no running away. Simply watching, observing, being versus doing. Taking time to look again. Recently, another speaker at our church reminded us that in pausing, it is not a time to understand or figure out, but rather it's a time to be still in not knowing. Peace, child, you don't understand, she reminded us. Viktor Frankl, psychiatrist who was in a concentration camp, wrote a very powerful book, Man's Search for Meaning. He wrote, between stimulus and response is that space, and in it is our freedom. So, between the news of civilians being killed, hostages being taken, and my response is a space. Between a friend being diagnosed with something and my response is a space. Between my hearing my stroke last September is still a mystery, even to the doctors at the Mayo Clinic, and my thinking, what the hell? Is a space. And in that space, we are connecting with the source of our energy. But we have to be aware of that space to pause. Even a short pause is a portal to our potential, for it gives us access to our nature. Pausing gives us a chance to choose the divine, to help us look as God. For although one's emotions aren't gone, we won't get lost in overreacting or jumping to a conclusion or clinging tight between stimulus and response. Interrupt the pattern of reactivity that keeps you in suffering. We frantically try to manage what is happening, so stop. Bring pause to a situation in which you get stirred up. Breathe. Again, perhaps scan the body. It's the breathing that anchors me. For another friend, it's sound. P-A-U-S-E. Please assist until reality enters. That's from Al-Anon. Also from Al-Anon, my thinking needs to be cleared of pigs. P-I-G-S. Personalization, interpretation, generalization, and speculation. But also pause when something is pleasant or delights you. Savor it and take it in. I've started pausing to watch the 3 to 5-year-olds run free at the gym at my community center. It's pausing to watch unbridled delight. Pausing to watch a kindness. To take in someone being kind. Pausing after you've done something kind. When we get to the daily word, it talks today about grace is the unexpected kindness. In writing this, I thought pausing might be kind of like resurrection. Honoring that space gives me more of a chance to witness my sadness, anger, pain, rather than being taken over by them, which means more of a chance of me to return to goodness and kindness and love. For pausing helps us to create new neural pathways, neuroplasticity. We can change patterns that are in our brain. At least we're told that. Patterns are deeply wired, takes ongoing practice, heals wounds that are driving the reactivity. Like the old commercial says, the pause that refreshes. Does anybody remember where that's from? I looked it up. It's Coca-Cola, and it's from the commercial from the 1950s. These days, I need to pause to refresh often during the day, considering there's so much that gets stirred up with what's happening in the world, what's happening with people I love. And I've needed to pause because the road I sometimes go down is at times not as God. It's more like the road of a scared, sad 6-year-old. So when I pause, I have better chance to witness, to observe from above the battlefield. To interrupt the war, we have to pause, which helps us then call a ceasefire. But first, I must notice the voice in my head, awareness, and notice what's going on in my body. Pausing gives entree to witnessing and observing ourselves. That's what Tara Brach, she says, mindful witnessing is our superpower. And that gives us the capacity to choose from a less fearful, stressful place. For when we witness, we're talking about being centered in heart, not that inner critic. Pause, and then we must notice it to do something about what Adyashanti calls our Velcro thoughts. You know what I'm talking about? The thoughts which cling and adhere to us? Well, we are the one who is aware of those thoughts, the one who hears them. We must notice them to get out of the spin and take a first step towards self-compassion and equanimity. When I witness, I see I need to slow down in movement, in my judgment, in my reactions, in my feelings, to slow down the biochemicals surging through my body that I may not feel I can control, but I can. When we pause, adrenaline has time to get absorbed in the system. You know, so often I hear in Unity, and other talks about our thoughts. So important. I don't often hear people talk about the bodily things that are going on at the same time. And I think that's significant. You know, I need to get my body symptoms under control before effectively attending to my thoughts. When the body is out of control, like my shallow breathing, my thoughts are going in the same direction. And being aware of what's going on in the body has been such an important part of teaching people in anger management, in teaching people in anxiety or assertiveness training. When I witness, then I have more of a chance to see as God. And if there's no witness, it's easy to get lost in the waves of the ocean. The anxiety, the fear, the tensions, the judgments, at least for me. Healing comes when we reconnect with a larger view of that ocean. Witnessing the waves, witnessing awareness, rather than for reacting from our story, our past, our trauma. Jim McDermott says, when we hold on to a story, a thought, or feeling too tightly, when we identify with it too fully, that becomes the God we worship. What was a source of liberation becomes our new jail. We're Gollum, screaming for our precious. Gollum was a character in Lord of the Rings. He was torn between his lust for the ring and his desire to be free of it. The ring's influence twisted his mind and body. Well, very often we clutch as if our thoughts, our feelings were our treasures, our precious, as Gollum would say. Precious. As if giving up our thoughts or feelings as if we could lose ourselves, lose our past, our traumas, our reactions, our responses, which become our identity. And that sure gets in the way of us living the truth we know, the truth we hear about on Sundays, and perhaps the truth that we grapple with, or that I grapple with at times during the week. Okay, let's go to a more exciting thing. Let's go from pausing to action. Principle 5. Through thoughts, words, and actions, we live the truth we know. Or as one Unity Church says, and I love it, I make a difference. So there's the importance of intention, of our thoughts, but it's also the importance of the skill of execution, for action can ease despair. Rick Hansen says, consider humanity in general, as well as non-human animals, and see if something is calling to you, not to burden you, but to push back against helplessness and despair. Helping others is a way to push back against helplessness and despair. There it is yet again, giving and receiving one energy flow. With some of the things I work on, I endeavor, I struggle with in Unity, this ain't one of them. Giving and receiving one energy flow. What have you done to help others? What are you currently doing? Just imagine how all this has rippled out into the world in ways seen and ways unseen, ways you don't know. Hansen says, the truth of what you have given rests alongside the truth that there is still so much suffering, and knowing the one will help your heart stay open to the other. I just thought that's lovely. The truth of what you have given rests alongside the truth that there is still so much suffering. Knowing the one will help your heart stay open to the other. So, giving kindness helps our heart stay open to the suffering. In his poem, Yes, William Stafford reminds us it's more than kindness that helps us stay open. And he writes, it could happen anytime. Tornado, earthquake, Armageddon, it could happen. Or sunshine, love, salvation. It could, you know. That's why we wake and look out. No guarantees in this life, but some bonuses, like morning. Some bonuses like right now, like noon. some bonuses like evening. No guarantees in this life, but some bonuses. Like what? What bonuses would you list if you wrote the poem? For me, one of the bonuses I list is that kindness still exists. It always exists when I'm ready to see it. So I become more vigilant about noticing it, pausing, as I said before, to watch it, to enjoy it, to savor it. So each night in bed, I spend a moment reviewing the kindnesses. When I started doing this, I would do it and I go, oh, now was that kind? Was she thoughtful? No, she was really nice. And I thought, ridiculous. What am I doing? Let's put it all in there. Thoughtful, nice, kind. I don't need to, differentiate. So I review the kindnesses of the day. I review what I did was kind, who kinded me, any kindness that I saw or heard that I witnessed that day. Ending the day by savoring them. Do good, get good, watch good, someone wrote. Goodness radiates and sticks to people. So yes, bonuses still abound. Like kindness, which is perhaps another one of our superpowers. Our licensed Unity teacher, Kaywood Black, says choice is our superpower. Like that. Tara Brock says pausing and witnessing. I'm thinking, why not kinding others? Kinding others even when I'm not in the mood, even when they've done a nasty. In that way, we honor ourselves, our highest capacity. Emily Cady reminds us in Lessons in Truth, unless you use for the service of others what God has already given to you, you will find it a long, weary road to spiritual understanding. When I die, says Parker Palmer, and on the brink of everything, he says, I'll be asking if I was faithful to my gifts, to the needs I saw around me, and to the ways I engaged those needs with my gift. That reminds me that doesn't mean I need to fly to Gaza or Israel or Ukraine. We don't need to do all things, just the one or ones that are ours to do. And sometimes they're right in front of us. Someone else wrote, if you want to help but don't know how, begin in relationship. Who in your life is hurting? Offer to walk with them, listen to them. There's no fixing grief, only bearing it together. If you're falling apart, your breathlessness is not a sign of your weakness, but of your strength, of how deeply you feel the horror, how deeply you care. You still feel, and that matters in a world that wants us to feel nothing. You can feel it with you, breathe with you. And he goes on to say, opening our hearts to grief, others and our own, is how we hold our humanity in a world that would destroy it. It's how we will begin to survive this. So perhaps, just perhaps, our most powerful response to the horrors is to refuse to surrender our humanity, not being ignorant of our feelings, of the grief, which also means the caring that lies under. The moment we allow our hearts to go numb is the moment we shut down our humanity. I've been thinking about this. Don't have an answer. But there are reasons we see from our human side at times. How might that be serving your life? Jonetta, later on, you might want to share that quote that you shared before we came on screen. Anyway, perhaps we even need to stay with that part of us at times. Would we lose something significant if we weren't in that struggle? Choosing to feel the sadness and suffering is human. It honors that part of us. Not that we want to live there. For we are blessed with the divine too, available 24/7. And where else but the divine is the heart going to get strength? Last week, a friend shared something she had been told. You have to sweat out your spirituality. And I think that's what I'm doing. What an honorable sweating out. Anyway, it's the third Sunday of Lent. Don't think I'll give up my humanity, my grief, my caring. I thought, well, maybe I'll let go of needing to know or let go of my negative thoughts. And then I thought, nah, I'll just give up eating fish. I hate fish. That's easier. And then I thought, well, maybe I can combine that with something more spiritual too. To end, my mighty companions, let's go back to that bylaw. Let us keep on endeavoring. We might not always believe it, but we'll endeavor to go there. Endeavor to live in accord with principles of love and truth as we honor our humanity and never ever forget our divinity. For again, where else but the divine is the heart going to get strength? Many blessings. And now, you'll join me in our meditation, in our time to go within, to silence. Feel yourself supported by the chair, the floor, your space, and your breath, the breath of life. Notice it. No need to change the depth or the pace. Just witness, observe. Every breath is an invitation to life, to being alive. Breathe into that sweetness. Breathe out and send that sweetness through your body. Breathe on purpose. Open the 5 million pores of your skin and inhale through them. Exhale through them all, releasing what you don't need. Again, inhale and exhale that which does not serve you. Observe as thoughts come and go. This isn't the time to try to understand, to attach, to problem solve the things that float to the surface of your consciousness. Just notice, observe, as they flow past like clouds in the sky. Life can't be based on what is passing. It cannot be based on transitory images, so let them dissolve, like snowflakes falling in a warm pond. It's time to pause. Pause and experience being filled with divine life, embraced in divine love, and guided by divine life. The silence welcomes us. Here, I'm here, Spirit. You're here. We are here together. Together in silence. Let your awareness revisit the breath. Invite the breath in and affirm, my very essence is of spirit. Let the room gently welcome you back. Today, I endeavor to remember that the good deed continues to be good. The kind word continues to be kind. The cold cup of water given to the thirsty continues to be refreshing and reassuring. Today I endeavor to be the reason people have faith in the goodness of others. And so it is. And so I am.
Okay, Chris. All right. Thanks for watching the weekly broadcast from the Unity of Fredericksburg. Visit our website, uofva.org, to learn more about our mission of spiritual awakening and transformation, and support our ministry with your financial donation. Thanks again for watching, and see you next time.